guys, Patrick back from Yin Yang Zing. We're doing a lot of takes tonight, but we're going to be doing my Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon deck. This is the deck I took to regionals. I've updated it since that event, and this is such a powerful deck. You can do so much damage to this deck so quickly. You can create boards that are so hard to get over, and you're forcing people to extend and overextend just to get over one monster. Josh is here with me behind the camera, so you're going to hear him. You're going to hear him talking throughout this one. This is the deck he's probably played the most against, because I've play tested it so many times, and it's a good warm up deck. If you're going into like a competition setting, especially if you guys are going to your locals at card shops and everything, and you're going up against powerhouses, this deck probably is the best to go up against. And it's really consistent. Like there's so few times that I don't end up with a Blue Eyes Chaos Max or one of my fusions on board, because the deck is built around the synchro, the fusion, and the ritual summoning, which this deck is going to be really good in link format. But we're going to jump right into it. So first is the boss monster, Blue Eyes Chaos Max. 4,000, can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. That's important opponents. So Dark Hole will destroy it, but it does double piercing damage. So you attack a Zodiac player's defense position monster. They've used all their effects. They can't target it to destroy it with Trident. So it's going to deal them 8,000 points of damage. That's going to hurt. That is GG right there. And it's just, it's so strong. It's such a good card. Next, because it's Blue Eyes, you run 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. I have the original starter deck Kaiba ones. I'm not running them in this. I have the artwork one, at least. But those ones are just really old. 3 Blue Eyes, though. You have to. Next up, 3 Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. It is a fusion variant, so you want to see as many Blue Eyes as possible. And this really helps.
I don't like that card.
Blue Eyes Alternative is, you destroy one and then you use it to create new monsters. It's great, and it destroys one, and it's an easy summon. Next up is 1 Dragon Spirit of White, and that is the last of the level 8s. The Dragon Spirit of White helps you deal with back row. It lets you special summon a Blue Eyes. It's just super valuable.
It's annoying. Don't let him say valuable, it's annoying.
It is valuable in the deck. It's annoying, I'm sure to face. Next up is 3 White Stone of Ancients. Sorry. The White Stone of Ancients is great in the grave because it helps you recycle Blue Eyes Chaos Max if something does happen to it, because you run enough ways to summon it that it would be beneficial to have it. It also special summons a Blue Eyes monster from your deck to the field, turn it sent to the graveyard.
This card right here is, let alone his engine of this deck. This is the reason that he runs 3 is because he can keep cycling and cycling and cycling. And that's what you want to do with this deck. You want to be able just to keep, that constant flow of good cards going through.
Yeah. And White Stone of Ancients is no exception. It is so good, and it makes so many more plays valuable and live. Next is 2 White Stone of Legend. Now, a lot of Blue Eyes players and a lot of Blue Eyes Chaos Max players don't want to see Blue Eyes in hand. I don't care. Blue Eyes is Blue Eyes no matter where it's at, and it's super helpful no matter what. And this just adds them to hand, and it gives me 5 targets total for cards of consonants, which I do run 1 of. Next is 2 Sage. I have found that with 3, this deck is not as good.
You're welcome.
I do have 3. I finally have a playset. I finished it tonight, but even with 2, like I prefer 2 of this card, because 3, it's, in my opinion, for this style of deck, clogging. I don't want to see it every turn. I don't want to open with this card every single game. I want to open with it occasionally, but I don't want to open with it all the time.
He's a good mid-game.
It's good early game if you open nothing else, but it's not the end-all be-all. It's not a pure Blue Eyes, it's a ritual variant.
Now, since we're talking with the whole Blue Eyes deck concept and everything, why don't you run Maiden? Maiden is probably one of the better of the Blue Eyes cards.
Maiden's really strong, and I run one in the extra deck. I find Maiden is much, much better in the pure Blue Eyes variant, the Synchro variant, whereas I'm running a Ritual Fusion variant, and Maiden, it makes a lot of things live, but it
It requires something to happen.
Right. It's too situational for this style of deck. This is a hard, aggressive OTK style deck. That's what this deck is all about.
What was it, the Master with the Eyes of Blue and all
Master, I liked as a one-of for a while, and it works really well with the card I'm about to talk about. But Sage is ultimately just better, and it's...
Sage, correct me if I'm wrong, Sage pops pretty much the same effect as Master does.
Yeah, but it does it from the hand, whereas Master sends itself back into the deck, and it's too situational, like I said. The next card is 3 Manju of the 10,000 Hands. This searches almost all the time your spell, but with Sage in conjunction with, you summon this, you pop a card, you search the card you need, you pitch the Sage, you summon a Blue Eyes, then you use the spell or whatever you need to do to extend. So you could sometimes end with a Blue Eyes White Dragon and a Blue Eyes Chaos Max on the board in your opening turn off of 3 cards.
Just depends on how far you extend the play.
Right. Next is the most powerful spell card in the deck outside of the ritual spell, which is Return of the Dragon Lords. It's constant protection. It's so mean. It's just rude.
This was the card that took you forever to get 3 of, right?
Yeah. I now have 2 playsets of this card. I run a playset in my Red Eyes deck, but it's so good. It's not once per turn. It is not an individual monster. It's Monster Reborn on drugs. It really is.
Any dragon deck, us at Team Yin Yang Zing, highly recommend running this in the dragon deck.
As long as you're running level 7s and 8s, yeah, absolutely. It's great. I've run different variants of Blue Eyes. Josh will attest to that. That I've run some pretty wonky ones with Ultimate Lord, Big Ladeshin. That's really rude. But this has been the most consistent version, I think. And I'm sure Josh agrees. He's played all of them, so. Next up is the Draw Engine, which is 3 trade-in. You have so many level 8s that you pitch one.
That's a must. I feel like in that deck, it is a must because you want to see other stuff.
Yeah. And Blue Eyes doesn't matter if it's engraved. You have the White Stone of Ancients. It doesn't matter if you put Dragon Spirit of White in the graveyard. You have ways to summon it. It's just so consistent and so good that trade-in is just, it's so powerful. Next up is, and I just got my last ultra rare of this a couple weeks ago, 3, the Melody of Awakening Dragon. I have commons, obviously, but I love that I have 3 ultra rares of these. It's such a good card. This will also work. It will search both your Blue Eyes monsters, Blue Eyes and Blue Eyes Alternative, but it will also search Chaos Max because it has more than 3,000 attack and it has less than 2,500 defense. It is an extra search, so if you open this and Manju, you have opened a Blue Eyes Chaos Max on board.
This deck does not need any more searchability than what it already has. For you guys watching this right now, this deck is really rude.
It really is. And I haven't even gotten to the rudest card yet.
It's like the big old middle finger.
Constantly. Next is the Ritual Spells, which I run 2 Advanced Ritual Art and 2 Chaos Form. The Advanced Ritual Art is great for early game. The Chaos Form is better for late game. But you can work with it however you want, because the late game for this deck is turn 3.
Yeah.
You don't normally have long games with this deck. And it's...
I think our longest what we've went is maybe 5 or 6. And that's just because, I mean, I had Ultimate Conductor out in the field and he doesn't target.
It's pretty hard to get around it, but there's ways to do it, and I haven't gotten to some of them yet. Next is 2 Twin Twisters, because you don't mind discarding your stones. You don't mind discarding cards because there's so much recursion. And popping back row. Back row is a problem for this deck. Next up is Silver's Cry. It works on Dragon Spirit of White, and it works on the 3 Blue Eyes. Good one of, because I don't run Soul Charge in this deck. I don't like it, because I want to attack as often and as frequently as possible. Cards Consonants, discarding a White Stone of Legend, draw 2 cards, and you add a Blue Eyes. It's great. It's just super powerful. Dragon's Mirror, like I said, I run the fusion variant. I don't pull out the fusion monster a lot, but when I do, it's just, it's mean. And I'm about to get there. One Raigeki. I mean, that kind of makes sense. It's kind of self-explanatory. And last, the rudest card in this deck. Yeah, Blue Eyes Chaos Max is not the rudest card, but it is required for the rudeness. 2 Grisaille Prison. This locks Zoo out for 2 turns. Not 1.
And by the time turn
2
2's done, GG.
If I open Blue Eyes Chaos Max, one of the many ways I have to pull him out turn 1 Chaos Max, and I open with Grisaille Prison, I have locked you out of almost your entire extra deck turn 1. You can't Exceed Summon, you can't Synchro Summon, and their effects are negated, and they cannot attack. So Zoodiac, you have 0 attack. You have 0 defense, because your Exceed monsters have no effect.
If you guys can't tell us that Yin Yang Zing really don't like Zoo.
By we mean me.
I think it's because a lot of the local players here are Zoo players. Yeah, I believe that's the reason.
I mean, it's not my reason. I just don't like Zoo. I think it's stupid that you can get one.
I mean, it's a great concept. Thank you, Konami, for putting all these great concepts out, but please do something about Zoo.
Just kill them already. So now we're into the extra deck. That's 40 cards. First up, Blue Eyes Twin Burst. Attacks twice, can't be destroyed by battle, and if it battles a monster and it doesn't destroy it, it banishes it. That's a great way out of problems. Okay. So we're not sure where we're at because we lost the video recording for a second. I know we got through Twin Burst. But for Neo Blue's Ultimate, the reason you want to run 3, you're only going to summon 1. Ever. You can't summon any more than that. There's not a way to do it. But when you summon him, you'll send to the graveyard the other 2 so it can attack twice because it's going to be on the field by itself. They have a protection effect in graveyard to protect Blue Eyes monsters. It's just rude, and it's a 45-card body that can attack twice. So it's big, it's powerful, it's mean. I love it. It's a great card. Next up is the Synchros. 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. This deck I'm actually probably going to change a couple of cards in just because I don't Synchro Summon a lot because I run the Grisaille Prisons.
You get this card out on the field though, you're locked out.
This beats Pendulum Magicians.
Yeah.
This single-handedly stops Pendulum Magicians from being able to play their deck.
Sorry, Bird. Your Magic Specters have no chance against that.
Like, it just locks them out. They can't Pendulum Summon. And if they try to get rid of it, you can block it by sending out this guy. And now you can't destroy them, and you've got revival effects. And you can still Synchro Summon. Next up is Crystal Wing. This is one of the cards I'm actually taking out of this deck because I never get the opportunity to go into it. It's not consistent enough at pulling it out. So I don't see a point keeping it in there if I'm not going to use it. I can go.
Binder.
No, it's not going to the binder. I have another deck for it. Next is Stardust Spark Dragon. It's kind of a placeholder for Ancient Fairy Dragon because I don't have one. Black Rose Moonlight. This is not coming out. This card's staying. Black Rose Moonlight is just amazing. Bounces cards back to hand. It's super strong. And last is Michael. I think I've used this a total of 1 time. I never used Michael.
If you're going to run a pure Lightsworn deck, use Michael. Michael towards a lot of the other decks is kind of...
It's good because it's a light dragon, and it gives me the opportunity to do a lot of things. It makes Crystal Wing a possibility, but...
The other effects of it doesn't really pop off with this deck because you don't run Lightsworns.
And you don't want to pay the 1,000 to banish something, so it's just not... Next is number 38, into the Exceeds.
Ugh.
Negate, 1 free negation a turn, 3,000 body. Just rude. And last, the Galaxy Eyes package. You'll go into Tachyon, you'll overlay into full armor, you'll pop a material to destroy a card, and then you'll go into this and you'll make them banish 3 cards from their deck after getting rid of 3 cards, and you're going to end positive because you're going to probably have a Blue Eyes in hand added, you're going to have a Blue Eyes on field, and something else. whatever other card you want to get rid of. And it's important to note that Whitestone of Ancient is not once per turn for its summoning effect. That is my Blue Eyes White Dragon, my Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it.
This deck, though, man, let me tell you. This kid has probably sunk so much money into this deck alone.
You'd be surprised that I didn't actually spend a whole lot on this deck. I think the only card I actually spent some money on was the Returns. Nothing. Crystal Wing I traded a whole bunch of stuff for. I traded a whole bunch of stuff I've had for years, so most of this deck, like, it's expensive cards, but I got them for... I've probably sank maybe $30 into this deck in total.
Make friends with people at your locals, please.
But this is my deck profile. It is the deck I spend the most time on. I love this deck. This and Dark Worlds are my two favorite decks, but Dark World I haven't really touched in a while. It's just a fun deck to annoy friends, and I don't think there's a way to make it any better. So I hope you guys enjoyed this really wonky deck profile. But we'll be checking you guys. We'll be coming up with more videos for you guys soon. We've got a few more deck profiles of mine to do. We've got a couple of decks to finish up on Josh's end, and we've got a couple of friends we're going to try and bring into this.
So from Team Yin Yang Zing, please like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you guys want us to do next. We got some pretty cool ideas that we wanted to start doing within the next couple videos. So yeah, from Josh and Patrick, you guys have a great night.
See ya.